Good morning, good afternoon. Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to the first War Sales Bannerlord stream on this channel anyways. I know this is where the embargo drops, so I'm sure a bunch of people will be streaming and releasing videos. I actually had a Let's Play planned for this. I'm deleting that footage because I didn't like the way it turned out, so unfortunately no Let's Play. I'll probably get one up maybe tonight or something. We'll see. I gotta re-record it. Now we're not allowed to talk about like reviews of the DLC, give it scores, any of that stuff. I'm obviously allowed to talk about it and do all that stuff, but in this specific live stream, I wanted to test a lot of the custom naval battles and see if we can figure out some good tactics. Essentially the reason I wasn't able to do the campaign, the Let's Plays, is because I tried to rush boats in the early game and I haven't found a good way to do it. I don't know if it's viable. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I'm not 100% sure, but essentially, yeah, the way I tried to do it, I tried to get a boat really early. It just didn't work out very well. So it was just me complaining the whole time and failing. But anyways, I wanted to get some battles in here. So what we're going to do is just kind of go step by step, and we'll do like small battles and kind of figure out what a good strategy is here for the small end, and then we'll work our way up until we get to the big ones. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't really matter who we use. But what I was thinking about doing, influencers typically get early access to hawk the game, or should I say introduce? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, they don't really tell us too much other than just don't score the game until the day of release. So like if we have complaints and stuff, they don't say it. So I mean, you know how I am. If I don't like something, I'm gonna say it. And I said it right up front. Like I deleted all the footage that I had because I didn't what I expected and what I didn't line up. So I'm gonna go back and redo it. I need to learn how to do it. But yeah, if you're expecting to get in you know, start playing with boats in an hour, it's just not realistic. So that was kind of what I was hoping to do, but that's not how it played out. But essentially, let's get in here, start testing some boats. So you can see there's a lot of boats in here. There's a ton of them, way more than I was expecting them to do. AN, thank you so much for updating the member. I appreciate it, man. Just sync them. Yeah, that's kind of the goal. I haven't had a whole lot of time to play with the ramming techniques, so I do want to mess with that a bit, and then. I've messed with some good tactics, but not so much the ramming part. So are you going to be doing a campaign today or mainly naval tactics? Today's just going to be naval tactics. I'll do the campaign as a Let's Play. I don't like to live stream campaigns so much when I'm just learning. If I have like a set goal, then I don't mind doing it, but I think in this case we'll probably just stick to the testing for now. First impressions are good. The naval combat aspect of things, really good. Yeah, I'm impressed with what they've been able to pull off. So I didn't have super high expectations, to be honest, but yeah, they've definitely exceeded what I was expecting. Because I was kind of thinking it would be along the lines of what the Japanese mod Shokuho did, but it's like a whole. It's almost like a different game when you're playing on the Navy. It's very, very different. So you prefer watching campaigns not live? Yeah, because I can edit them and get all the boring grindy crap out. So yeah, I agree with that. Let's start with small. We'll do Berlin, and we'll keep it mixed. So we'll allow melee and ranged, and I just kind of want to see, just like get a baseline for, okay, this works, this doesn't work. So I've messed around with kind of loading up with archers, and that kind of works, but archers aren't really that accurate on the open waters. So I don't know, maybe there's a way to boost them with the right stats, but in custom you can't mess with it. So but let's get in and kind of talk about this. So your default view is a top-down, you know, third person, but pretty far back, so you can scoot around and look at a bunch of stuff. You could still do your zooms. You can change down to the basically around your character. Around your character, and then you have one from the front. So if you're trying to watch an impact, or you're trying to see where the front of your ship is relative to theirs, you can get different views. So that they did a pretty good job with that. So what we're going to do is we do have the wind at our back, so let's go ahead and let the sails down, and that'll give us a nice speed advantage. We don't want to get rammed here. Actually, the wind's going the other way, isn't it? Here we go. So one strategy that I had in mind was just have a light boat that's very fast, and then you could just kite people around and just blast them with arrows. The one thing you don't want to do, obviously, is get rammed, so you slow down enough to where you can get some shots off. Have your guys get some shots off. Let's actually get a closer view here so you can see what they're actually doing. Their accuracy is okay at close range. I have been hit a lot, though. They do target your captain quite a bit. Let's see, our oarmen are fast enough to get out so we don't get attached. Yeah, the maps look good, the sea, the graphics, what they did with the background and everything, it looks really, really nice. It almost doesn't even look like Like, if you saw this, you would not expect this to be Bannerlord. If you didn't know they were doing a DLC for boats, you wouldn't even know this was Bannerlord. It looks totally different. Are ships like siege defense where you have unlimited arrows? No. No. So if I select my troops here, you see the bar, the little white bar below, that shows their ammunition. So yeah, it's not infinite ammo. So you do have to be careful of that. But you can see here, we are whittling them down. We've got 15 kills. We could probably just go in and attempt to board. So if I press R while I'm looking at them, they will shoot their grappling hooks. And you could also, what you want to do when you're doing this is get everybody off the oars. They did it by default right now, but you could preemptively do that. Get them off the oars sooner. I will say this, one thing I have noticed is, oh yeah, let me turn the music on. I had it turned off because I was recording. The music's pretty good. Let me know if it's too loud. The steering radius is lower. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Yeah, it depends. I'm still learning. Whoa, there we go. Good old Bannerlord physics. I love it when the bodies go flying. That's actually hilarious. Yeah, like I said, I'm still kind of getting my feet wet, so to speak, and trying to figure out how the systems all work. So, what is the ship limit for battles? It looks like it's 8 or 10, I think, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't know if it's based on your troop count still, or if it's on the ships. So you can see here having archers. Well, they had archers too, though. Why did they do so poorly? I suspect it's because we were shooting into them. Maybe, I don't know actually. Are archers that much better? The Nord archers are pretty decent actually, but optimization I haven't noticed, and I did get a new PC about, I don't know, 3 to 6 months ago. I can't remember, so I can't really comment on that necessarily. It's pretty high end, so it's not going to show any struggle. But I haven't noticed any skipping, but that, like I said, that doesn't mean much when you're using the high-end stuff, so I'm not sure. Okay, let's... 4v4, yeah, see, you can get up to 8 ships in here. I don't know if it's different when you get out into the big one. Yeah, let's go ahead and add a few more. And like I said, I just want to keep a kind of a controlled environment where we can test stuff. Imagine you get up 8 since this how many formations can do. Yeah, exactly. But I don't know if you can put more than one boat in each formation. I don't think so, though. I don't think so. Put these on the boats. And they do contribute, I believe. Well, not in this one. I think they turn all the stats and stuff off. But I'm pretty sure you can do that. You can load them up with a bunch of perks and then put them on a specific boat. And then, yeah, this one you can have preference ranged or melee, and then you can kind of filter them, but I don't know. It's the same filter problems that you have with the base game. So dev sent a blog, 8 is the maximum for one side. Got it. But the ships they can get pretty big and they can hold a lot of people. So all right, so one is us. Actually, I can give If I give them the move command, that'll get them to go. Now, this one, F2 is... Alright, we'll delegate command. So you can still do all the usual stuff.
Sergeants take command! Sergeants in charge!
Right, and yeah, one thing I do like is that they give you the direction of the wind in two ways. So you have the flag like this, but then you also have in your UI in the bottom right. Yeah, the water looks really good. The water looks good. I'm kind of curious what delegate command is going to look like. So,
Soldier, here, warriors! Soldiers!
Can I select more than one boat? Doesn't look like it. Oh yeah, I can.
Soldiers! Warriors!
There we go. So I can do that. I can't select my boat and give it command, so I have to manually do it, but that's fine. If you can see the bottom, yeah, you can. You can see the bottom. Oh, we ram them. No, we missed. Let's try and board. Okay, we can throw the thing manually. So the little hooks. Let's get a hook. Oh, somebody jacked it from us. And then you could just jump over and start wailing on them. We don't have a shield though. And you, oh wait, we went overboard. You really do want to have a shield for these. There's so much ranged weapons, and the spears are really important. Oh boy, one of our boats is getting smacked up pretty good. So where I'd like to see where everybody is actually. Let's go back to the command, and I'm kind of curious to see where everybody ended up. If we just delegate command, do they go 1-to-1? Where's my commanding oar? That's over there. Yeah, because I can see 2 ships right there. I see 3 ships. Oh, so one of our guys isn't doing anything. Yeah, this guy's not doing anything. Can you go attack, please? Or you attack this one. Maybe we can get him to come help us. So what might be interesting, the DLC goes live next week, I believe, on the 26th. So 5 more days. It'd be interesting to see, maybe you have one of your ships go out far and get a couple of their boats to chase, and then you could use your guys to team up on them. Here we go. Here's our buddy's ship. Okay, can we jump on our buddy's ship? If we can catch it without... Yep, we can. Alright, so can we take control of this boat? We can. Oh, nice. And then we can just give commands like that. Oh, no, it kicks you off. Yeah, it kicks you off. Yeah, the lighting is really good. Right, so... Yeah, they're pretty much dead. Our archers are superior to theirs, apparently. Yeah, I guess the Empire archers are not as good as the Nord. I haven't been as impressed with the Nord infantry, to be honest. Actually, let's test that. So let's do some of the big ships. We're gonna go with like the Drollman. This thing is huge. We'll go all melee. And let's go with our Huskarl. So you can see the elite troops in action. And then we'll give them a heavy ship as well. Let's do the same one. And then we'll give them the usual, where are you? Legionary. These guys are super strong. And then we'll see how well they fare. And yeah, I don't know why this is interesting. So it fits up to 120. There's 40 people in the cargo hold or something. I wonder if we lose a certain amount of people that come up. I haven't quite figured that out yet. Because if we hold Alt, it says 80. If we go in here, it says 80. But if I go off the ship, it says like there's a plus 40 somewhere or something. I don't know. Hey, greetings from Brazil. How's it going? Haven't been following the news too much. Is it possible they have half naval and half land battles? I remember hearing something about sieges. I haven't tried a siege yet, so it's possible. I'm not sure, but as far as I've seen, it's all naval. Like if you're doing a naval battle, it's naval. If you're doing, you know, on land, then it's land. The 40 and hold are rowers, maybe? No, because you could see the rowers are actually up. They're on the deck. Unless maybe there's another set of rowers below them. That could be. Because you can tell your rowers to stop. Like right now I can go half oars. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. You're right. I think you're right. There's another set down below. So if we pull them off, they still don't come out. All right, we're going to ram. We're going to ram. Oh, man. All right, let's go ahead and attempt to board. And then let's see how effective our infantry are. But you can see the amount of projectile weapons that go out is insane. You really have to have, you can't afford to have just regular melee troops with nothing else. You have to have ranged. Yeah, like I said, I am not super impressed with these, the Huskarls. They seem to do pretty well, but I didn't notice them being all that overpowered against any other infantry, and they're tier 6. Everybody else's infantry is tier 5, so I'm not going to shoot too much. I kind of want to see how well they do, but yeah, you can see the kill feed is not, that's not too impressive. So I don't know if they need to be adjusted, or if maybe this is not their main role. I feel like this should be their main role, right? You can also, if you want, you can have your units follow you, and you could just set up a defense in the back and let them come onto your ship. One thing, and I don't know how you would even do this, but I wish you could control your troops on the ship so that you could like do different formations and stuff. As of right now, you could just have them fire at will. You can have them charge. Right? There's a couple options. But you can't control them like you would normally do, which I get. It's kind of hard. Yeah, I'm playing as the Nords right now. So they are not wanting to come on our ship for some reason. So that's probably exploitable, because I can just pick them off like this. What are they leaving? They said we don't want nothing to do with this, and they're leaving. What about... Alright, defend the ship. Let's go ahead and link up. See if we can get them to come on our ship. Yeah, see, this is the part that I'm not 100% sold on yet, on how to go about it. I feel like boarding other people's ships is not a good idea. Like, I would much rather just sit back and shoot arrows and just block the planks with shields. So, I don't know. Yeah, they're attempting to flee. Yeah, this stupid Empire. Whatever. Yeah, I'm not gonna get out of that. Right. Anyways, I wanted to do that so we could watch this up close. But yeah, you can see here, they're slightly ahead. Maybe they're doing all right. That's one thing I want to test today for sure, is what troop types do better and which ones don't. Yeah, we'll do a big naval battle for sure. We'll do a big naval battle. It's not propaganda. It would be cool if you grab and throw enemies in the water with enough vigor or something. Yeah, no, you don't drown. So I would imagine they did that because it'd be pretty frustrating. It's easy to fall off the ship. So you could just swim and climb back on. Same thing with the enemies. When you destroy a ship, the enemies are swimming, and they try to swim to somebody's boat. I think if they don't have a boat to swim to, then they'll drown. I'm not sure. Or they'll swim to yours, and you just pick them off as they climb up the ladder. I'm not 100% sure. Usually, when I've had people go in the water, I just shoot them with arrows, and I have my archers blast them. So you can see here, I mean, they are winning. Yeah, I guess it's better than last time. The Nords are in the north of Sturgians. Yep. They rearranged the map a lot, actually. So. Enemies have a time limit based on their tier if they're a Marine. Oh, interesting. Before they drown. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. That makes sense. Do you think you'll be at a major disadvantage in the game if you don't engage with the water portion? Just in case you don't happen to enjoy that module. Yeah, there's certain parts of the map where you probably want to have a boat to cross, because otherwise you have to go all the way around, and it would take you days, if not weeks, to get around. So yeah, I would say you probably would be at a disadvantage. I wouldn't say you have to fight on the water, but you need to be able to use the water to get around. I would say it's probably more important. But yeah, I don't know about being forced to fight. These guys actually did really well this time. So I've tested this before and they didn't do that well. So yeah, that's pretty good. Let's test it one more time. I want to see how they do against the elite troops, right? The Manabliaton. Yeah, we'll do a couple of these easy tests just because, like I said, I want to get my bearing here, and then we'll do some big some big naval engagements, and then we'll try and figure out some good tactics. But we need to know what troop types to use first, right? So I feel like that's pretty important. So at the moderate, you are basically at the mercy of ranged attacks. Yes, and you can't pull your weapon out, so they could shoot at you, and you can't do anything back. So, and then when you go up the ladder, they're just waiting for you at the ladder, smacking you in the head. So. Can you show the new map of Calradia? Yes, I can. Is your firepower limited when you're rowing since a good portion? Yes, that's exactly it. Yep. So if you cancel the oarsmen, you get your troops ready to fight. I'm gonna let them charge us. Let's see what the ram does. I know it does quite a bit of damage, and we'll put ourselves at a disadvantage here, but I kind of want to see it. It's hard. It's really hard to ram people when you only have a few boats. All right, here we go. Let's turn the oarsmen off. Let's see this in real time. Here we go. They are getting blasted with throwing weapons, but oh man, that was a big hit. How much damage did we take? I can't tell. I don't know if there's like HP for the boats that you can see easily, but I haven't noticed one. Let's go ahead and link up with these guys. There we go. So if you connect, the more lines you connect, the easier it is to pull them in. If you have a lot of men, like let's say if you're a really big boat and there's a bunch of small ones trying to link up with you, you can just row away and the line will break because you have a lot more force with all those rowers. And then likewise, if there's a small boat and you happen to attach, they're going to have a really hard time getting away because you have so much more strength than that little boat does. So, all right, let's see what this looks like with your shock troops. I would much prefer to use shock troops, and I have a feeling they're going to do really well there. Although the only downside is they don't have shields, so they're going to be really vulnerable. But it doesn't look like it's making much of a difference. They're getting... Yeah, I guess it's kind of even. They probably got destroyed. Oh, they actually have throwing weapons too. I forgot. They allowed them to throw the Pila. Yeah, because they never used to use their Pila, but now they fixed it. So, can you knock off enemy hooks? Yes, you can. So if you look over here. Oh yeah, I just saw somebody pop up from the hold. I feel like. Yeah, so those act like reinforcements. That's exactly what it is. All right, yeah, you can see. There's supposed to be 80 troops, and we already lost 13. And as more people die, they will pop out, and the number will actually go up. So that's interesting. I didn't realize that, but good to know. All right, why are they running? What I was going to say is once this attaches, if you come up to it like this, you get the option to cut loose. So if I cut it loose, those guys all drop into the water. There he goes. Drop into the water. So they'll have to come back up. We could just rehook it again, and then they'll climb up. No big deal. Is that whole HP when you press tab? This is morale, so I don't think so. Let me go back to the bridge where I was commanding and see if it shows us. Because I saw something at the bottom, but... Yeah, you can see... I can't get my cursor up, but in the bottom right... I don't know. I don't know what that red bar is because it looks the same, so I'm not sure. Do you lose reinforcements if you lose the ship? That's a good question. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. So, I know if you lose your ship and you still have troops, then you swim to the shore on a raft. And then you just basically start like that. So, are all Nord Mariners? I believe so, yeah. Most of them have the little Mariner... When you look at their unit card, they have the little Mariner symbol. So, I do believe so. Now, I don't know why they're having such a hard time fighting, but let's try and help them out here. I think they're all crouched down because they don't want to get hit. Alright, let's get everybody hooked up and see if we can get these guys to actually fight. Now, the one thing that is good about this, if you have a bow and arrow like we do, or if you have a ton of throwing weapons, this gives you a lot of time to get your ammunition off. And in the base game, like right now we're in the custom, you can't really add that many attachments to the boats. But in the actual game, you can add reloads for your arrows, reloads for your javelins. So you could get hundreds of arrows off. So like if this fight takes a long time, you could get a lot of damage in with your personal characters. So just got a donation from Injust Man. Thank you so much for the 55 euro. I appreciate that, man. Holy crap. Thank you for the support, man. That means a lot. I appreciate it. It's terrible jank. It might not be though. It might just be how it is. Yeah, because there's, I mean, this is the plank. Oh yeah, they just cut our guys loose. They're doing it too. But I forgot what I was talking about. But yeah, you could. It's probably going to be really important to have a good ranged character. I think for this. I think range is going to be even more important. Here we go. Let's get as many guys over as we can. Oh, I did not mean to take somebody's shield. Yeah, they keep... I don't know why they keep cutting it loose. You can see them trying to cut it loose. Somebody will go into like a crouching animation, and you could just keep hitting him instead. But we are... Yeah, see, look, we're not really winning this. But if either side had archers... If we had archers, they would be doomed because they're not really doing much and they don't have shields, so they'd be in pretty rough shape. But that brings up an interesting point. If you don't have archers but you have shock troops, you could just bum rush people, right? Get in close, ram them, and then try and board. So now's a good time to press F4. Well, that would be telling them not to shoot, and they don't have. We could tell them to charge. Maybe that'll get them to go. Yeah, maybe by default, maybe they're on defense instead of charging. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Now they're starting to push a little bit harder. But you can see they're outmatched. So the shock troops are still the king. Left upper corner ship HP. Let me go take a look again. It's so hard playing without RTS camera to speed it up. It's so used to it, it's like hard. The price of the DLC, I believe they said 25 US and then a 10% discount. I don't see anything in the top left when I'm on the ship, so I don't see any HP. The HP in the bottom right is the characters. So 2 jabs stack new meta. Yeah, you can really stack your javelins and then you put the reload barrels. I think you can get at the maximum. I think you can get three reloads total. So, do you have any early recommendations for everyone that wants to do naval focus campaign? Yeah, my biggest advice is don't focus on naval until you can afford to. So maybe by the time you get, you can field like 100 troops, maybe like clan tier 2, something like that, and maybe 100k in the bank. I tried to do it too early, and it was just, there's not a lot you can do. The problem is there's very few enemies that are weak enough for you to attack. But if you have, say, 100, you could take on pirates that usually spawn in the 60 to 70 range. And so if you have 100 troops, you should be able to tackle them. Oh my god. There we go. Yeah, so good to know. Manavila tells the shock troops are still the way to go, I think. So, have like 6 people in a little dinghy. Yeah, seriously. I mean, if you have a really good combat character, you could technically do that. You can go raiding for fishing ships. So you can have up to 8 ships. Are you going to show the campaign? Yeah, I'll show you my save file that I had. I was going to do an Eric the Red campaign, and like I said, it just wasn't working out very well. So I'm going to redo it. I think you can have more ships in your party, but you can only have 8 on the map at one time, is what I believe. So, oh, actually, yeah, here's one. Here's an actual naval combat. So these guys are pirates. Oh, I was supposed to show the campaign, and I'm already, no, not pirates, sorry, those are the traders. But yeah, here is the map. So you can see up here, this is the new land for the Nords up in the far north. So this used to be Sturgeon land, and they cut it in half with a big inlet, like a sea inlet. So somebody was asking, should you have a boat? If you're literally just using it for travel, that's the way to go, because if you look from here to here is not that far. But if you have to take land routes to go, you have to go all the way down, all the way over, and all the way up. And then there's mountain ranges here. You have to go all the way in. It is a massive pain. So yeah, having ships is going to be key, but maybe not in the way that you might expect. I don't think you have to fight naval battles so much. I haven't gotten in far enough into to say that for sure, but yeah, having ships is going to be key to traveling back and forth. And then what you could do is you could just buy ships and leave them in port. So like you can't take your ships with you. Like if I start in Vernavapol and I come over here to Omor and park them, and then I go travel over here and then go to Karbanseth, I don't have ships here. My ships are still in Omor. So it probably makes sense to have ships kind of parked everywhere. So which ship type is the best? I haven't figured that out, and I also don't know which ships. Yeah, I haven't figured out the meta for that, so I wouldn't be able to comment too much. Sturgia does get dumped on pretty well. Britannia still kind of gets dumped on, although they're holding on. It's not that far in, though. It's only 2 years in. But yeah, you can see they're not doing all that well, as usual. And then kind of cool to see this, but Aserai struck out from the south, so they are using their sea lanes the way it's supposed to. And yeah, Karbanseth moved a lot, so they wanted to make sure that Britannia had something at least. And then I don't think you can access this lake, which is fine. But then over here, the Khazaits, they have access to the water as well, and then you can go up the rivers. So these rivers are navigable. You can get up and down them, and then you can leave your ship. So you can park your ship anywhere you want. You don't have to go to a port. You can park it in the side of the river, and then leave, and then come back and take it. So you could definitely do some raiding. It's actually pretty fun. What's that around Vostrom? Vostrom is there. Oh, that's a storm. Yeah, so if we let time elapse, and these storms will actually damage your ships quite a bit, so yeah, the map change is interesting. I'm not 100% sure. Like, my first impression was, oh, this is cool, I like this a lot. Second impression is it kind of slows the pace of the game down a little bit, which I'm not necessarily a huge fan of, but I kind of see why they did it. But yeah, I would say I need a lot more time to make a final judgment, but it looks much better, that's for sure. I mean, I do like the changes with widening the rivers and making some use there, but yeah. Put a castle there. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool if they had more islands. They do have one up here, so Havalvik, and there's also a castle. So there's a town and a castle up here. This would be a pretty good spot if you're trying to go for naval in like a pirate status. This would be the place to go, and then you would have to just sally out to defend with your ships. But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. I do wish they had more of that though. Like maybe down here they could use some of these islands. It also would be kind of cool if you could settle islands. Like if they have a location where there's no town, but maybe you can add one. That'd be an interesting idea. Probably lots of new land battles to match the new maps too. I've seen a couple new maps, yeah. It's hard to say though, because maybe it's the old maps, but they just look a lot better. It's hard to say. But yeah, like this whole area looks completely different. Like you can't even tell what it is. Now, it doesn't look like this is connected to any sea. Yeah, so this might be an expansion for later. And this is not a port town. But anyways, let me show you this battle here. And then we'll get back to doing some naval tactics. So this was a battle I decided to save so I could mess around with it. But we have fewer troops than them. But they have 3 ships. We have more people per ship than they do. So they have 3 ships with 50 people. We have 1 ship with 25. So the goal here, I thought, was to just blitz and try and get to 1 ship as fast as we could. But the problem there is they do link up their ships together, and so you think you're only getting 1 ship, but they actually they can still blast you. So was the cheat menu reworked? I think so. Well, I don't know. It still works. I know I turned it on to test a couple things, so it is still working. So let's go against the wind. Yeah, this is a tiny boat. This is my first ship that I bought, and it took me a long time to get it, and it's not as useful as you might imagine. War sales, I believe 25 US. And then I think they're running like a 10% discount for the first few days or a week or something. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I thought I remember seeing that. I think they published it too, so. You could see the ship HP, yeah, when you're setting it up. But in battle, I don't think you can, which is kind of a pain because your ships do have HP in battle, and if they go to 0, then they sink. So, yeah, they modeled almost everything in this as real physics. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, we need to get enough distance so that we can section one of these guys off and try to get at them by themselves. That's what we're trying to do here. I don't want them to link up. What I'm thinking is get these guys to chase, and then we'll turn quickly and go for that one in the back. So let's try to do that. So we're going to stop. You turn much faster if you stop. If you try and turn while you're moving forward, it's really hard to turn. All right, here we go. We're going to go for these guys. Look at, they try to board us. We want to board this. Oh yeah, see, we just broke their line. There we go. We do want to board these guys though. We'll let them. Yeah, we'll let them on. All right, here we go. But the problem is they're so close behind. So, and also I've noticed it's easier to hit people in first person now than it is in third person when you're doing the naval. Oh man, I missed. You can get a little disoriented though. I feel like the rocking. See, look at, they're lining their ships up, so they're gonna combine all their forces into one. So we gotta be careful here. Oh man, that was a big hit. Let's get behind our shield wall here. Let's follow and defend the ship. Yeah, we don't want to go onto their ship because we don't have enough troops. And then we're gonna get shot here on the flank is the problem, so let's just stay here. I feel like the combat's gotten a little harder as well. I don't know, that could be a patch that they released before, and it's been a while since I played a lot. But yeah, the combat's not as easy as I remember it being, so. Are we getting stomped here? Yeah, we're getting stomped. So I think the strategy here is just to stay back. Oh, look at that. And then they boarded us from this side. Can we cut them loose? Not really. Yeah, so I will say this. I can't wait till we get mods because I want to do a companion campaign where we're just doing a custom navy or like a little pirate group. Because can you imagine having like really powerful companions that are doing this shipboarding stuff? I think it'd be a lot more fun than regular troops. So. You saw the HP there? Oh, okay, got it. But anyways, this wasn't supposed to be a winnable battle anyways. We attacked somebody twice our size. And they actually have better troops than we do. We have a couple high tier, but most of these guys are not that good, so. Anyways, let's get back to the testing. Defending borders, yeah, it's tough, man. I think so from what I could tell, the best strategy is to load up on archers and just don't let them catch you, or bum rush them. So let's show that actually. So if we were to fight, like let's fight somebody who has more troops than we do. We'll go heavy archer. Let's use the Nords though. And then they can have the generic. I think that's probably fine. Okay, so they have what, twice our numbers? And then we'll see if we can win this fight with a medium ship. And then we'll get into like direct melee combat. Is there a cooldown wait time until you can cut the ropes? I don't think so, but it takes a while to actually cut them. So you don't just immediately start cutting it right away. Hey, Gladio. Can the Valania ships have battering ram? I believe every ship has a battering ram, yeah. So you can ram with any ship, but certain ones are better. And then the rams on the front actually provide bonuses. So like you can have one that gives you more melee combat stats and stuff like that. So, all right, let's get ready. So you can see here, if we stop, our turning rate is so much faster. Way faster. So if you're trying to turn quickly, make sure you're stopped. I did test with Fiend Champions. They're incredibly strong, yeah. The only problem with Fiend Champions is no shield. So, can you show us a complete run or just specific parts of the gameplay? I can show you complete run. I can't score. I can't review the game necessarily. And I can't show the campaign storyline stuff. But anything outside of that, yes, I can show. Consguard are decent, but they're not as good. I did test Consguard and Fiends performed a little bit better. But they were still really good. All right, let's go ahead and get our sails out. We got the wind. Oh, that's the wrong direction, isn't it? I thought the wind was going the other way. So yeah, what we want to do is try and outpace these guys so they can't catch us. But we want to stay close enough that our archers are actually getting shots off and not wasting all their ammo. Because you can see... Yeah, you're right. It does show the ship HP. You're right. So if I hit the number of the boat that they're on, that's how you can see the HP. Yeah, good catch. Good catch on that. Yeah, the problem with this strategy is a lot of people have shields. And it's hard to hit shots. It really is. Yeah, and then if we get into melee, they're just going to destroy us. Huskarl are okay. We tested them just a few minutes ago, and they outperformed the... Well, at least on the boats they did. They outperformed the legionaries. So, it was like 50 to 70 kills. So, not by a massive margin, but I would say a pretty good amount. I guess I could have... Reign Supreme? Yeah. Are we not... We're not actually... getting that many kills. We're getting a few kills, but you could see just the ranged meta. I think against the big ships is hard because they're higher up and they have more protection with the shields. This boat doesn't have shields. You can buy upgrades for ships, so you can upgrade the shields that are on the side of the ship that provide you some protection. They're trying to close in so they can link onto us. We don't want to link. How's the movement of the ship? Does it feel very heavy? It feels very heavy. Yeah, very heavy. You got to get used to it. So, if like when you press a button to turn, you have to wait for the oars to physically go in the water and push. So it's at least a good second or two before you can actually see your boat move from the time you input the button press. So, if you lose a battle, do you lose your ship? Yes, you do. Yep. I have lost my navy once. They're not that expensive, so to be honest, it's not that big of a deal. This is a medium ship. This is a large ship that we're fighting against, and this is a medium ship that we're using. So we're trying to do like a David versus Goliath here. I just want to see how effective these guys are at range, whittling them down a little bit. So if we kind of cross the T here with these guys, oh no, they're backing up faster. So now we need to get away. They might try to attempt to board, and I don't know if we have enough oar power to get away from them. The Huskarl has an axe and throwing weapons, an axe, and I think they might actually have a spear as well, a polearm. Does the Nords have large ships? Everybody has ships. Yeah, they all have the same. You can buy different ships, but depending on what city you're in. But yeah, you can get pretty much all the ships if you go to each town. You'll get different ships at different towns, but we don't want to, like I said, we don't want to get into melee range with these guys. So, you know what we could do also is help out. Oh, this guy right here. I see you, you little punk. Too high. Yeah, it's too high. Yeah, I can't tell where this thing's going. Yep. Anyways, why are we not shooting our arrows? Did we run out?
Warriors!
No, we didn't run out. So let's pull the oarsman off and see if that helps. So you can see here, you do have to do a lot of micromanaging, which I prefer. Yeah, look at that. That's a big difference. Now we're getting kills. That's why we weren't getting any kills. So they can shoot. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, usually, depending on the boat, some boats have more rowers than others, but you usually have a small contingent of people that are dedicated archers, and then a certain amount of people that are dedicated rowers. But yeah, the rowers come up from your troops, so if you have archers that are manning the rows, the oars, then it helps to release them from that. But yeah, this is super effective. We should be able to take out this big ship with just this. It doesn't look like this ship has the reloads, but you can buy them in the main. But yeah, really hope they can be both line and shock troops at the same time. Yeah, I know. I'm to be fair, I'm not all that impressed with the Nord lineup yet. Their archers do seem pretty good though, actually. But the biggest problem is they only have one quiver, so they're very limited in ammo. So, not too happy about that. But they seem to perform pretty well. But yeah, the Nord Huskarl I just wasn't that impressed with. Not to say that they're bad, but I just wasn't super impressed with them. Let's try to attempt to board, see if we can win this. Are we too far? Are they too far? Oh no, they're not too far. Look at that. Yeah, there's the grappling hooks. And then once you're hooked up a bunch, you can cut these away, I believe. There's usually a button when you're commanding the ship. You can press X. Yeah, you can see down here in the bottom right, it has the grappling hook symbol. That'll pop up with an X if you want to cut them loose. But we're the ones that ordered it, so. What weapon types do you recommend for ship battles? Definitely have a shield and have lots of ranged. Yep, shield and ranged. Although, we just tested the Huskarl versus the Elite Manabliaton, and the Huskarl got smacked. They got destroyed, so. Yeah, the sunset looks really good. Or I think this is sunrise. I believe this is morning. Alright, let's form a defensive ring. Defense, please, boys. Defense. Yeah, we'll let them on the ship. And then we'll just, now we'll charge them now that they're on. We should have a better chance here. I don't know, there's something about fighting on the gangplanks or gangways, whatever they call it, the connections between the two ships. They get picked off really easily, and they don't seem to attack very well. Oh boy. Oh, can I kick her off? No, the guardrail stops her, but destroy it. There, she's dead. Alright, how we doing? 36 versus 24. We're gonna win this fight, even though we had like a third or 2/3 of their troops, so we had less troops. Oh yeah, you are alone. Somebody was asking about cut and loose. So if you go up to it, you can cut loose, but you can see how long the animation takes. Oh, it just canceled because, oh no, can we do it? There we go. So you can see it takes a few seconds. It's not that easy to do. And then yeah, it does drop them in the water. Alright, so that's one thing I was going to mention. The archers for the Nords seem pretty good in melee. They're actually not bad at all. And then they are, I would say they're probably above average archers. I don't know that they're great, but they're probably above average. Did we take any damage? No. Yeah, so they got stomped here. All right, let's do some big battles. Are there new minor factions in the game? I haven't noticed. I'm not sure. Yeah, only one quiver. That's the biggest downside. I'm not a fan of that at all. Can we look at their loadout? I'll go into the game later and we'll look at their loadout. But let's get some big battles going. So we can do. Let's get these boys. We'll get a front line of maybe 2 heavies, 3, maybe two heavies, 2 mediums, and then some lights. What kind of light do we want though? Eastern Galley? Let's do the Eastern Galley. We'll go full troop count. Let's do a mix. But what I want to do here is we'll get some Housecarl, but I want to get some of their shock troops as well. The Oath. They have 2 kinds of shock troops actually, if I remember when I was looking at their troop tree. Pretty sure I saw 2. Where's the other one? Maybe not. No, yeah, they do. There it is, right next to him. Okay, Housecarl, that's fine. Let's dilute some of the tier 6 so it's not super OP. And then we got the good archers. Let's fight against... I want to see against Britannia. I feel like Britannia is going to be kind of tough. Let's do mirror match so that we can see who's got the better fighting and better tactics. So we're going against Drakkar and then Eastern Galley. So we're obviously going to give them some Fian champions and some Fians, so they'll get a little bit diluted, but they'll still be super strong. And then for their front line, yeah, the usual Folksmen, Skipari. I don't know who these guys are. These are new. I guess every faction got some Mariners. Wildling and Oathsworn. There we go. Get rid of the tier 4. Okay, so we'll run it like this. I think that looks good. Oh, also you can upgrade your ships, so we'll do some upgrades on the heavies, and then we'll just leave it like that. Let's see how that goes. Typically no shields. Yeah, I think no shields is kind of a mistake for naval combat. Unless you just get in as fast as you can and board, that's really the only chance that you have. And I suspect the AI will probably let you get away with it, but it's definitely risky. So, all right, so yeah, man, that's a lot to take in. All right, so what do we want to do here? We definitely don't want to delegate command. Yeah, we upgraded 2 of the ships. So the 2 big ships, the heavies, have the upgrades. The others do not. What I want to do actually is send in the light ships. How do I have them? It's hard. I can't see anybody yet because they're so far away. Can we have these guys? Yeah, so if you hold control, you can select multiples. And then can we have them follow? Follows. Oh, nice. You can do skirmish. I don't know if that actually works in this or not, but let's try it. I'll have everybody set to skirmish. Let's see what they actually do. No RTS camera. This moment is sad. Yeah, I know. How do you like it so far? Hey, Kube. Sorry, Kube. It's good. It's good. The beginning is not what I expected, so there's no real way to go from starting a new campaign to having a reliable usage of ships in the early stage of the game. You have to kind of get to the mid game, so you're kind of playing a regular playthrough for a while, and then you get access to the ships. Like, you can access them at any time, but you need money, you need decent troops, and you can't do anything with like 20 troops on your ship. It's really hard. So yeah, I would love to see some Napoleonic era battles here. All right, there we go. They do have the upgrades on their ships too, so they're getting some pretty decent shots off. Now what I'd like to do is ram one of these small ships if we can. So I'm gonna swing wide. Actually, if this guy's gonna let us ram, we'll just ram him. There we go. Rammed him for 100 or 1300, and we're gonna just push straight through and try and ram the little guys. There we go. All right, let's get a good view of that. Yeah, you can see their boat is just getting absolutely destroyed. We just shoved them out of the way. All right, back to our regular view. All right, they're trying to board, which is fine. We can just destroy them. Yeah, see, I was telling you about not having a shield. We're already almost dead. This is crazy. And we're getting shot from behind too. So having a lot of ranged is super important. Super important. Yeah, we have, you can get upgrades where it allows you to shoot fire arrows. So that is definitely a thing. And then I do recommend going into first person mode when you're trying to shoot on ships. We almost have these guys pretty much gone. We can cut away. Whoops. We can cut away soon and go back to the regular fight. We almost done. How are our other ships doing? Man, it is really hard to focus on everything. Oh, one of our ships is dead. One of our ships got sunk. Oh, and then they just got rammed. Yeah, I can already tell right now I'm gonna need to spend a lot of time learning this because it's really hard to go from like the base game to this and know what you're doing. I would probably need to focus on smaller combats. So, you know, one-on-one ships, two-on-two ships before getting to this, because this is just overwhelming to know what to do. But I still think if you can kind of kite them and avoid combat and just load up on archers, you would probably do pretty well. They were on delegate, yeah, they were. Yeah, if you look right here, delegate command. Or maybe I gave them charge or whatever. No, I gave them skirmish command. Yeah, they're supposed to skirmish. But apparently they don't want to skirmish, so. Hey, Caesar, thank you so much for the $10 donation. Hell yeah, pimp. Good to see you, man. Thank you for the support again, as always. I appreciate it. Lob some arrows in there. Yeah, see, I think we're pretty much done with this fight, so now we can break off and help. So what we'll try to do, we gotta cut the ropes free, so they're busy doing that. They're gonna go, yeah, you can see them on the left side, they're cutting those planks free. And then that'll allow us to actually get some movement here. We're getting stomped though, man, holy crap. Can you only get arrow barrels on ships, or is there one? There's javelins as well. Yeah, you can get both. There we go, we're cut loose. We don't have as many oarsmen because I think we lost half of our troops here. Yeah, we're down to 40. So we don't have as many people doing the oars. Let's try and get a nice ram. I want to redo this fight, but we're going to stay on the outside with the big ship and wait for them to get into battle. And I want to ram them at full speed and see if that helps. So let's try and do it right now. The wind is blowing against us, I think. Yep, so we can't. Let's get rid of our sails so they don't slow us down. Can I not? Oh, I don't have enough people to man the sails. The next fight possible in storm weather? Yeah, we could do stormy weather. Full fiends is the way to go. I think, like I said, I don't have enough experience yet. It could be possible that if you load up with a bunch of shock troops and you storm the ship that has fiends, you could probably wipe them out, but I don't know that for a fact. I still have, that's what we're kind of figuring out today. We need to test. All right, here we go. Let's, I can't switch my, oh, because I have this on, that's why. All right, let's go. Here we go. Here we go, full speed ahead. And this is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt them. Oh, we're getting hit hard though. Boom. 4,000, oh, we just died. We died at the helm. Damn, that thing got hit hard though. So these ships have, I think, 60,000 HP, and that did, I believe it was like 10, was that like 6 or 10k in one ram? So that was a good ram, but it's not going to be enough. I don't know that ramming big ships is going to make that big of a difference. Yeah, we got absolutely destroyed here. Let's see who got the kills though. So who ended up killing most? Obviously the Fiends and the Fiend Champions, that makes the most sense. And then for us, literally the only people that got kills were our archers. So the Sky Gods chosen, these are the archers. Literally nobody else did anything. So yeah, I think the archers are probably the way to go. But if you look here, the wildlings got kills, but that's because they have ranged weapons. The Skipari, they might have ranged weapons. That might be why they got some kills. And then the Oathsworn don't usually have good range, so that's why they are kind of sitting at the bottom. Try doing a Fiend ship versus Nord archer ship battle. And don't engage with your ship. Yeah, that's what I was doing before, was kind of kiting them around. How much damage did we do to that one ship? So we rammed one for quite a bit, but you can see they still have a lot of HP. 7,200 is the total, and we got them down to 66, so that's not enough. But I bet you could ram a light one and wipe them out, maybe in one hit. Yeah, 80 Fiends basically wiped out everybody. It's wild. Alright, let's do it again, and this time let's go a little bit less archer so we can see some of the melee combat. Okay, and on this thing, yeah, Fiends are really good at everything. So what I want to do is maybe switch to a different heavy ship. This is like the biggest one though, 60k, 60k, yeah, this is the biggest one. So we'll keep it for now. Let's try to ram somebody. Let's ram one of the small ships. I'm going to leave them on delegate and let's see how they do. Actually, the Fiends were a lot more. This shows the current alive, but there were 128 total lost on the top. Yeah, you're right, you're right. Because it does pull them out. Okay. Get on your ships. And then we're going to go delegate. Our delegate is F3. We'll just kind of follow them in a little bit, but once they get fixed, we're actually, why don't we go to the outside flank? Fire the looter. Yeah, have them board them, just like launch them into their ship. That'd be kind of funny. All right, here we go. We're going to go for a flank with the big boys. What are you doing? Get out of my way. Okay, we probably need to not have our sails out, right? Because the wind is going against us. This front sail is helping a little bit, though. Actually, yeah, that front sail is kind of nice. All right, let's get all the sails out now. So the big ships have two sail options. You have a front one and a rear, or the mid ship. But yeah, I'm not very good at figuring out how to do this. So the wind is blowing this way. That is slowing us down, I would imagine, right? If it's crosswind or behind you, then you can take advantage of it, but obviously if it's headwind, then you don't want to have your thing down. Is there friendly ram fire? I don't know, that's a good question. I haven't tested it. On the showcase, they make ships for melee and ships for archers. You could make ships for skirmish and ships for melee. Yeah, I haven't tested all the different ship types out, so yeah, you're probably right. I'd have to mess with it. Like this one has a lot of cover. If you look at the, so hard to see, but if you look at the shields on the side of the ship. Can I zoom in? Yeah, I still can't really see. Oh well. But yeah, there's you can buy shields for the side of your ship. All right, here we go. So we're gonna go for a nice wide flank. They're gonna go in and do whatever, and we're gonna try and sink one of those small ships. All right, here we go. So we're gonna hit back. So we want to stop, and then we want to get to a stopped and then turn. So don't try and turn while you're moving forward because it's really, really slow. You can turn really fast if you stop, and then we're gonna Full speed ahead. Let's go ram these guys. Alright, they're just going to get into melee, I think. Which is what they need to do, because they're not going to handle the Fiend champions on their own. That's just not going to happen. Alright, if we have the sail going, but the wind's going against us. Yeah, that's going to slow us down, I thought. You can see the wind is going this way, so I think it'll take momentum away. Alright, anyways, let's do this. Here we go. Ran the little guy. Oh! Oh, it knocked them all on their butt. It didn't kill the ship though. I don't know how that's a thing. They should definitely be dead right now, or that ship should be dead. It's funny. All right, we can keep ramming. Let's go and ram one on the other side. All right, that is a friendly. Yeah, we're losing this badly, dude. These guys are just not. They are not good at fighting. All right, that's an enemy ship right there. Let's ram the one in the back. Get up here, and yep, that's here's the Battanians. Oh man, and it doesn't look like you have friendly ram damage, so I think it's okay. But we disconnected our buddies so they can get out. They're actually winning that fight. They're up by 1, but let's go ram something else. I feel like ramming needs to be buffed, or maybe I need to have a better ship for it. Maybe this isn't the right ship for ramming, but that seems pretty weak. But yeah, I'm sure they're going to adjust all this stuff. But like if the biggest ship can't handle sinking the smallest ship, because the first one we rammed was a light ship. Oh, and we're dead. We just got hit by siege equipment. Well, there goes that test. But yeah, I would like to see, because it's really hard to ram people, actually. I've messed around with it for a couple hours. It is not that easy. Unless they're parked like this, then it's kind of easy. But if you're parked like this, that means you're losing the numbers advantage somewhere, because they're able to just get in there and do their thing. But I would love to see ramming be a bit more effective, maybe. Or maybe I just need to get better at the game and more experience. So like I said, it's still kind of fresh. But not enough speed for a ram. That could be the thing. Yeah, that might be the case. So maybe we have to go upwind until the enemy is going to be downwind, and then we turn and hit him like that. That could be a thing. But yeah, you can see here, this is not going well. Getting stomped. Try placing archers in the big ship and order them to skirmish, and melee on a medium ship and order them to board so the big ship can storm them for the archers. That could work. Yeah, that's what we're gonna try and figure out. Now you can see here, this is one of the ones we rammed. It's halfway dead, so didn't quite kill, but it got less than half. And then we kind of bumped this one a little bit, but didn't do that much damage. And I believe this is the one we were using, and it didn't really take that much damage, so that's good to know. So, yeah, maybe let's try that. So, let's order. You probably need to be on the wind advantage. Oh yeah, that actually reminds me. Let's give ourselves the wind advantage, because right now it's default to the defenders. Is that right? Deploy your submarines, yeah. You can actually swim down. You can jump in the water and swim underneath boats and stuff, and you can go to the bottom of the water. Alright, so we want all ranged. And then these guys are going to be mixed, and then these guys will be all melee. There we go. So that should be good enough. And then what we'll do is, so 1 and 2 we will skirmish. So F2, whoops. 1.
Soldiers!
What's going on here?
Soldiers! Hear me!
Give me 1 second. So we want these guys to engage or we want them to skirmish. So F3. So skirmish, and then we want to get everybody else to engage. F4. There we go. All right, let's try that. See if that helps. And we have the wind against us again, so lovely. I changed it to the opposite and it still does. It still goes against our face. Is it possible to use trade ships as main battleships? You can, but they're not very good in combat. I mean, if you have really good troops, you can get in and just latch onto other boats and then storm them. So yeah, you can. Does scouting do anything how you see on the sea, or is it a new skill? That's a good question. I'm pretty sure it's the same. So your scouting skill will work the same on land as it does in the water. It just helps you see better, see farther. On the campaign map, hopefully you can see the wind direction. I don't think so. My guess is it's RNG when you load into a map, but I don't know that for a fact. But if I had to guess an easy way to implement it, that would probably be it. Sorry, dude, we might bump you a little bit. I really want to ram somebody full speed with the wind behind us. So we're gonna go wide and then we'll sweep in. But hopefully we'll get some decent shots in here. What are we doing? So that guy's supposed to be skirmishing. Why is he going to melee? And these guys are supposed to be attacking. Why are they going on the flank? Maybe I'm not quite understanding what the directions are supposed to be. The buttons. Alright, let's go ahead and ram this guy if we can, and then we'll just go around. There we go, did 1500 damage, now we're just gonna push him out of the way. I feel like it should be doing damage while we're doing this. Push him out of the way. But maybe not. I mean, our ram is literally inside them. Okay, are we doing better this time? No. Yeah, Fiend, so here's the new strategy. Just buy Fiend champions and buy whatever boat they can fit on. It doesn't even matter. They'll just win. I don't think it does. Seems like a single impact. Yeah, it seems like a single impact damage. That's what I was trying to figure out. All right, we're at a good enough range. Let's go ahead and stop. And then we'll do a quick hard turn. We will unfurl the sails with the wind at our back. Yeah, buy fiends and avoid enemy fiends, exactly. Alright, here we go. Get our sails out. Wait, what? We changed direction. How does the wind go against us again? Maybe I misunderstood the direction we were going in from, but yeah, this is not going to work. We're going too slow again because the wind's against us. God damn it, man. All right, here we go. Let's see what this does. This is a full-on ram. 5,200. So that's about half their health. That's not quite enough. Let's go ahead and attempt to board them too. Try and take over these small ships so we can get some action here. Isn't the wind direction the arrow facing against you in the right circle indicator? So there's two ways to look. You can look at the flags at the top of your mast. That'll tell you the direction of the wind. And then if you see the wind in the bottom right, the arrow, so the little curly things in the end tells you where the wind is coming from, and it points to the arrow that the wind is going, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Because if you look... Oh no, sorry, opposite of what I said. Yeah, so now it's going this way. Did we lose some ships? We lost all of our ships, except for the two big ones. And then even one of our ships only has 80 people on it. Nope, they're dead. Alright, anyways. Yeah, so archers is still probably going to be the meta. There might be a case for maybe loading up with with your shock troops. But then Fiend Champions are basically shock troops. They're just shock troops with range still. The problem is the wind is quite weak and you are going faster than the wind with the oars. I gotcha. Hey, Nadim. That makes sense. I think I can adjust the wind strength. Actually, let's back out. This one's lost anyways. So if we go, yeah, you're right, wind strength. And let's do the Stormy. I want to try that. And then let's go towards the Defender so that we can get some good ramming speed. Let's do this, though. I'm going to try it. Let's get rid of all of our archers. And let's just try and storm them. We'll keep the Housecarl on, and we'll slightly dilute it with the 2 shock troops and see if that helps. See if we can destroy these guys. And I'm gonna get rid of their shock troops because the AI rarely builds them. Hey Aaron, I appreciate it, man. Take care. How good are crossbows on ships? I feel like crossbows are going to be really good. Yeah, especially the ones with the Pavis, because they'll have the shield on their back. That should help. Oh yeah, we could do a different map. Let's check out some of the other maps. So I know there's ones that are along the coast, which are kind of cool. So this is open sea, but you can do a coastal one. You can do them in the river. The rivers are pretty cool. I do like the river ones. Alright, let's see what a stormy river map looks like. Oh, there is not much room to maneuver. Alright, here we go. So everybody...
Soldiers, hear me! Footmen, hear me!
let's go ahead and select all and just tell them to...
Soldiers!
Yeah.
Follow your
I'm just gonna let them do their thing. Infantry approaching the enemy in orderly fashion. Yeah, so we want to board them because we have all shock troops, or mostly shock troops at this point. So, all right. So the wind is going this way. I think we can get some strength from it, especially the front. That front sail. I don't know about the midship sail, but the front sail. Oops. That front sail is good at getting crosswind, I think, just like the angle that it's at. I could be wrong. I'm not very good with naval stuff. So, oh, they're crashing. Did they take any damage from that? No. So it looks like there's no friendly fire from crashing or bumping into each other. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, just crazy how different the game looks now. Yeah, it looks so much better. You can't get enough speed for ramming with that. Yeah, but they use real physics, so you would think that you're slower, but you have a lot more mass. So I would think, yeah, we could test crossbows. You would think that I mean, it's, you know, speed times mass is your momentum. So if you have a lot of momentum, you should be able to do damage, even if you're not going that fast. But if you're super heavy, here we go. Let's ram these little dingers. There's a good ram, 1500. Can we ram both of these guys together? Yes, we can. Ineffective ram. Well, what can I say? I'm still learning. Oh, he's gonna get rammed again. Oh, no, he did. Not quite. Yeah, I think... Oh, look at how bad we're getting stomped here. Just, it's all red. We didn't get any kills. So you gotta have shields, or you gotta have bow and arrow, or you're just gonna get stomped. So, for sure, that's confirmed as the meta. You gotta have... Skirmish troops don't seem to work. Yeah, the shock troops are not good if you can't get latched up very quickly. So yeah, this would be interesting to see if the Battanians, if it helps them survive. I don't think so, because they don't have a whole lot of naval presence, but maybe if they can go to that island, they would have a pretty good chance. Oh, but then they wouldn't have access to their troops. Is that ours? No, that's an enemy. All right, here we go. Here we go. This is going to be a full-on ram. They're desperately trying to move, but that's not going to work. Boom, 5k. And I like that it does kill a few troops when you do that. Let's switch and ram this guy. There's another good ram, 5k. And then we're going to ram this guy in the end. No, that's our own. Let me switch and get this one. We're just going to bully our way in here. And that's an enemy ship. Here we go. We can ram this guy. Oh no, we're ramming our friendly ship into the big enemy one. But they literally took no damage. Jesus, man. Yeah, Alright, so pretty obvious you gotta have a lot of archers. Burning enemy ships seems like the best strategy. Yeah, I think they can put the fire out because I've seen it happen where they get on fire, but then it eventually goes away. So, do we know how expensive the ships are going to be? Yeah, they're on the low end, they're about 12,000, and on the high end, it's about 60 or 70k. So they're actually very reasonable to price. If you compare, like the amount of money that you have in the mid and late game is going to be more than enough to cover a few ships. So, yeah, I think they're pretty reasonably priced. Now, you do have to spend a lot of money to upgrade them if you want to get more stuff. So, like you can see here, we've got reinforcing wave breaker ram. So we've got a ram there, the copper sheathing for more hull, you know, the ram resistance. Reinforced northern shields to protect against arrows, which obviously that didn't do anything. Fine honed boarding weapons, so that I believe gives your melee troops more melee damage. Cotton sails for more damage, and then roof. You can get upgraded oars as well to get more push speed. So, do you think fire has been nerfed? Saw it burning ship to a crisp in Tail World's gameplay. I don't know. I mean, when you see gameplay trailer reveals, usually they're trying to show you the most interesting stuff, but that's not always the stuff that happens in your normal gameplay. So, you gotta be aware of that. Let's cut this down. I mean, it's cool to see the big battles, but it's so hard to tell what's actually going on. So what I'd like to do is some more testing if we can. Maybe something with like 100 troops. And then somebody was saying crossbows, so let's do that. Let's do crossbow. Maybe not versus Fiend champions though, because we already know they're going to destroy everybody. So let's do like a Sturgian archer maybe. We'll go veteran archers. And then here we'll do the Vlandia. Interesting. So that's a seafaring crossbow, but they don't have a shield. Yeah, we'll have to try that. Let's see if they're any better. The seafaring. These guys do not have seafaring archers, but if you look at their infantry, they do have one down here. The veteran shipmen. Okay. Alright, sorry, my wife came in. Alright, let's yeah, so we'll do it like this. See how well they perform. Yeah, we'll get away from the Britannians. They're not... I don't think they're balanced for water combat. But like I said, it's still too early to make definitive comments like that. Alright, now if we do the ship... this is one thing I really need to get better at, is the ship sails. I feel like half the time I have them out, they just slow me down, but... it looks so beautiful. Look at that, man. That's so cool. This ship seems fast. Pretty fast. Use both sails when the wind is in all sails. You move faster. Using only one makes you move slower than using both. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. It's just, I feel like the wind is against us half the time. But, yeah, maybe I'm not quite understanding it. Wonder if war sales will be free. I think it's 25, but I'm not sure. Can you do coastal battle after this one? Yeah, we can. All right, so let's go ahead and cut the sails. We'll stop. Let's get off the oars. Get as many people shooting as we can. And I think it's okay to get rammed if you can kill more of their troops than they kill of yours. So. Wow, these guys are crushing them. I don't know if it's because they're better. No, they are getting shots off on us. But these crossbows are crushing them. Holy crap. It's starting to even out a little bit, but yeah, we're broadside for them, so I don't know if they're able to get all their shots off or not. I don't want to contribute. I want to just let these guys get their shots. Yeah, here you go. We got reinforcements coming out. Yep, there it is. So as soon as these guys go down, they do get reinforced. It's kind of cool. I would say crossbows are probably better than, at least in terms of Sturgia. But I feel like the veteran sharpshooter, or the Vlandian sharpshooters were always very good. Yeah, that's interesting. I feel like they'll do better on the water though, because their reload's a little bit slower, but you can move the ship, right? So it's, I don't know. I just feel like they're better suited to naval combat. So I do kind of wish that they turned around when they reload so you can use the Pavis a little bit. But yeah, they're pretty much dead now. That's it. Alright, now you know what we're going to test next. We got to see how well they are against the Fians. But we'll do similar, not the Fians, we'll do the not the champion, just the regular Fians, so it's even. And let's see how well they do. Yeah, if they do well against the Fians, then we'll know that they're probably a pretty good pick. I guess we'll see. We got early access? Yeah, by a little bit. Whoa, what happened to my sail? Yeah, see, this one definitely you could tell the speed. Can you pick up weapons from the deck? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can, yeah. Yeah, because I know I've pulled throwing weapons off to reload. When I have throwing weapons, I picked them up off the deck. Tried the Naval Vlandian Expomen. Yeah, that's true, because you don't need the shield anyways. They don't use their shield. So I guess the shield doesn't really help the archers anyways. I'd rather, maybe the deckmen have like an extra quiver or something. Are there bandit type units on the river sea? There are, but they're the Sea Raiders. Alright, here we go. Let's see. So far so good, but they haven't really unloaded on us too much yet. Alright, we need to get off the oars, get off the oars and shoot. There we go. Alright, it's a bit of a slaughter here, but we're actually ahead. But no, they're turning it on now. Look at that. They're starting to come online. Holy crap, man. Yeah, Britannia rules the waves. That's funny. Oh man, I had high hopes for the crossbowmen, but yeah, they're gonna get stomped here. The Fians are just too good. But I mean, that said, they are holding up fairly well. I wish some of them would stand in front with a shield like this guy. And then some in the back to shoot. I'm gonna throw... Oh, we just got shot in the face. Man, not good, not pretty. So yeah, Fian champions are gonna be really good. Actually, I know they're good on land. I feel like they're probably even better on the water, because you can kind of limit... like if you're heavily outnumbered with Fian champions on the land, it's really easy to kind of close the gap with cavalry and all that stuff. But if you have a fast ship, you could just run away and they can't catch you. So possible to make the big Imperial. So these are the ships that we have access to. These are the heavies. So we have this one, the Droman, the Gurab, Dromakian, and the Kulaguk. Actually, these are heavy too, the Lodya and round ship. Yeah, so there's quite a few heavy ones. I don't know which one you're referring to, but it's one of these, I would imagine. What if you take Shield Warriors versus Fiends after ramming and boarding? Yeah, the problem is it's hard to close the gap. Like by the time you get there, you're like half dead. But yeah, we can try it. I'll show you. So let's go Fiend Champion, and then we'll go Nord plus Carl. So shields, throwing weapons, and all that. And let's see if we can actually board them. Can you imagine if the sharpshooter actually took turns holding shields and shooting? Yeah, they would be really, really strong. Does the Empire have melee and ranged marine troops? I don't know. I know everybody has some kind of marine troop, but I don't know that they have both. Can you try land ship on ground? We can try that. Yeah, let me get this one done, and then we'll try that. Every good captain should have a parrot on his shoulder. Newton, yeah. Hey, Stefan, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for the €10 donation, or the £10. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, Newton. Newton. I'll probably start bringing him into my office soon. He's been good. I take him out for like showers and stuff, but yeah, I'm a little nervous about having him out with the kids because. I don't know, my boy messes with him, and I don't think Newton likes my son. He likes my daughter, not my son. But my son's kind of like how I was, always like teasing animals and stuff. He'll like throw balloons and stuff at him that he just hates. But yeah, I'll probably bring Newton in the room soon. All right, here we go. Let's try and close the gap as soon as we can. We'll try to ram. Maybe that'll burn some of our speed off, and then we can. Here we go, attempt boarding, we're boarding. Alright, let's go, boys. I don't have a shield, I'm gonna die. I don't have a shield. Alright, let's get in there. Alright, let's go hide. Oh, he just... Wait, why did we keep going? That's not what I wanted. If one of your ships gets destroyed, we'd be able to swim and board another ship. Yes, you can. Yep. Alright, that's not what I was expecting, and we are only losing troops, we're not getting kills, so yeah. Let me, what am I supposed to do? I guess after we ram, we're probably supposed to stop the ship. Whatever command you were giving when the ship, when you left command is what it'll continue to do. So if like you're going full steam ahead and you get off, then yeah. I'm supposed to say greetings from Artem. Oh yeah, Artem. I haven't seen him in a while. Hope he's doing well. Alright, let's board the ship and let's slow down. Come on, board. There we go. There we go. We got latched. Let's try and get on there. See if these guys actually do well in melee. See, the thing is, they do well in melee, but they can't get to melee because they're getting shot up so bad. Hey, Cosmonaut, what's up, man? I was going too fast to board. Yeah, I tried to ram them to bleed off the speed, but I think we just rammed and then skimmed off the side. Can we tell these guys to attack? Yeah, charge. Charge. You can see even without the shields, these guys are still dominating us. So we have shields, but their arrows kind of ignore shields, so... Yeah, the Fiends are probably better in melee as well, but even not considering that, look how many people are getting shots off from the side. Let's just die here so we can speed it up. Yeah, so the Fiends continue to reign supreme. Yeah, hold fire would probably be a good idea so these guys aren't trying to throw axes. Let's try it one more time. Boarding pathing is atrocious. It's not as bad as it seems. I think I'm probably just doing it wrong. I have had some where they go pretty smoothly. Let's try it again. And I am going to... Can I even put these guys on a hold fire?
Hear me!
Yeah, I can.
Stop shooting!
Yeah, we'll put them on hold fire. They're going to get a lot less damage done, I think, if they're getting killed. So, can you do shield wall? That's...
Troops!
I don't think you can do shield wall for these guys, unfortunately.
Follow me! At them! At them! Give them hell! Hold our arms! Soldiers!
Yeah, I'm trying to go through the options. There's not that many. Yep, that's it. The DLC is not out yet. It's they gave a couple the YouTube channels. We've got early access, but it'll come out next week in like I think 5 days, something like that. Give us a sea shanty. What about FPS? I haven't had any issues, but I did upgrade my PC, so I'm using basically top of the line at this point. So I don't think my experience is going to be a good estimate for most people. So I can't really say. Yeah, stop with the shooting weapons. We'll do something. That's what we're trying to do right now. We're trying to get... So I'm going to bleed some speed off here and try to board them. Let's try and get in close. Alright, attempt to board. We're going to stop completely. Let's board. There we go. Now we're going to get into melee, and then we're going to charge. Get in there, boys, and then we can help by throwing up some more planks. Oh my god, just instantly got killed. We can't even grab our stuff. So yeah, I think that's pretty conclusive that just to have archers, and specifically fiends if you really want. My configs, I'm pretty sure everything's on max settings right now. So. Yeah, YOLO charging into melee is not a good idea. With melee into fiends is not a good idea. Or just heavy archer spam for that matter is not a good idea. So ranged, but my guess is this was probably the meta in real life. I bet you that was the meta. Yeah, I've seen people get kicked out and see if their body is floating around somewhere. Alright, let's do one with melee troops. Let's do a couple with maybe some big ships. Let's get one with each of the heavies and see how that goes. I think there's 6 heavies total, right? Did I double up on one? I did. Double up on that one. Ship and Lodya. Alright, what do we want to use? We'll use the Nords. And then we'll go against, obviously, some of their better troops. So here's their Mariners. Let's use their Mariners and see how well the Mariners do. Can you test how the Consguard do? So I did test them a little bit before. They're decent, but they're not as good as the Fiends, I don't think. From what I saw. I mean, maybe that's not accurate, but... Let's do a coastal battle too. See how this goes. Landed on the ground and do that? That'd be kind of funny. Alright, this is supposed to be a coast. This is... I don't see the coast anywhere. Let's try that again. Did I pick the wrong map? Coast of... There's a coastline, but it's pretty far. So yeah, I guess it's kind of the same thing. It's like the open sea battle, but just a different background. Okay, let's get in there.
Take charge!
Right, so here's the 5 different heavy class ships that you can use. Oh, look at that one over there. That looks like a trade ship almost. That thing is pretty fast. Ours is pretty fast too. Bonus for Mariners, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you have a malus for not having Mariner troops in combat. So I don't know if we're getting a boost because we're the player, but We are going really, we're just screaming along. All right, let's go. Let's try and target one on the outside so we don't get completely sandwiched here. Yeah, it does help having the wind at your back, for sure. Let's go ahead and slow it down. We'll try and latch onto these guys. We overshot him. Oh, that reminds me of the memes. Is that the initial D? Oh, we just got hit. The initial D, it's like gas, gas, gas. Doo, 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 doo. That would be a good meme for that. All right, let's cut the sails and try and get back in there. Oh man, yeah, we move so slow against the wind, but that makes sense. All right, come on, push, push, push. Yeah, this thing was fast, but I did put it on stormy, and we're going with the wind at our back, so that should have helped quite a bit. Why are we not getting any kills? So we're using tier 6 versus tier 5 units, and we're just getting completely stomped. Yeah, I think ramming at that speed would be pretty nasty. So let's see if we can get in here. Let's try and edge our way in if we can. Oh man, I guess if you deal with motion sickness, maybe this is not such a good idea. All right, can we smack these? Actually, I'm just gonna jump over. Maybe not a good idea. So you can jump on their ship even if you're not ready. Hopefully these guys board. Alright, I want to see what they're actually doing though, because they don't seem to be doing very well. It's either that or the Skipari are really good. I wonder, actually, I forgot to check if our Huskarl are meant to be on the water or not. Maybe they're not meant to be Mariner troops. Did you try a field battle with Nord troops? Yeah, the Nord troops are better at melee than other tier 5 troops. Not by a massive amount, but they are better. Mariners work better than normal on ships. They can work... Mariners can work well, and Nord troops are Mariners, so they work well on ships and land, so they would be strong, yeah. Well, you would think, but they're not performing very well here. So these are literally the best foot troops in the game, but they're getting stomped by tier 5 Battanian. So that's interesting. Or maybe these guys are just OP and we got to use them. Yeah, I don't know. They're getting their teeth kicked in, that's for sure. Can we show us some Siege naval gameplay? I can try. I haven't tried one yet. We can get in there and just cheat commands an army and then go attack somebody. We'll do that next. Do you have top tier enemy? No, these are Battanian tier 5. They're, if you look at it, we should be stomping them because we have tier 6 units. 200 one-handed, 200 polearm. Look at these guys. They're 130 one-handed, so they should be significantly worse, but for whatever reason, they just stomped our guys. So I don't know. It could be because of the javelins, but they seem to be doing really well in melee as well. And then these guys have throwing axes, so they don't have javelins. Yeah, let's back out and try a naval. Let me turn cheats on, and we'll try and do that. I've noticed on your previous stream, someone said there's a Russian word, but it's not. Rus is not Russian. It's ancient Rus, meaning Niaz. Got it. Yeah, but aren't they like mariners? So all of the Nord troops are mariners, though. So we had the same bonus. So it should have been somewhat even. All right, let's so config. Turn that on. Whoops. Skip over here, see if this one, wait. Omor. Yeah, we'll do it at Omor. They do have some parties there, but that's probably not a big deal. Actually, this one as well. Do they have parties here? No, they don't. So this one will be easy. We'll just spawn in some troops. Let's make sure we can actually hold the troops. Whatever, clan tier value is too much. Okay. What are you talking about, dude? There we go. And then what we'll do is... probably want to get more of these guys and then more of our champions. Whoops, other way around. Yeah, that's the other thing I need to do is go through and look at all the troops that they have. There are a lot of new troops because they added mariners and stuff, and I guess testing them would be kind of nice to know how well they do. Some troops are weaker to other troops even if they are higher, like they have no shields, but most likely weaker to troops with bow and throwing weapons. Well, the thing is they were both supposed to be similar, right? The all the Nord troops are mariners, shielded troops with throwing weapons, and the Battanian ones are like that too, so I don't know. And the Nord troops had a lot higher stats. So my guess is it either came down to we had bad naval commanders and they just were getting outclassed, or the Battanian troops are just OP for some reason. But I don't know. It's kind of weird. What's the new island look like? It has one town and one castle. Up here. Havalvik and Hakarshus castle. Alright, let me spawn in some troops here. A while since they used this. Let's see what they actually are. Yeah, see, they changed the format. You used to be able to do it differently, but that's all right. So probably want to go. I guess huntsmen are fine. The marksmen. I'll try and find these guys real quick. Let me just do this. Yeah, because I don't want to spend all day doing this. We'll just add some huntsmen. So, Nord. Huntsmen, and then we need space, and then let's do like 400. There we go. And then let's go siege this down, hopefully. Are we in line? Oh my god, we have... Why is that so high? Oh, from extra party cheats. I see what they're doing. The one thing that I wish we could do the same thing for companions, because I really want to do a companion only run right now using this, but that's all right. All right, let's go siege down, see what happens. Can you not? Oh, can you not do a siege from there? Interesting. Okay, so apparently you can't do a siege from there. So like if I go over here, I can do it from this side. And then once you finish your siege camp, oh, whatever, I don't care. Once you finish the siege camp, it closes them off. I think you can reinforce from the sea. Like if they're setting up a siege camp, you can sneak in and then do that. But I don't think, I guess you can't besiege them. Yeah, see, he came in from the back. So he came in from the water. Very interesting. Yeah, it'd be interesting. Yeah, here comes more. They're just going to come in through the back. So reinforcing, yeah, it's going to be hard to siege down one of these, or to besiege this if you don't have the naval part cut off, because they could just come in and reinforce. Interesting. Blockade. Yeah, once you get the siege camp up, then you blockade the port. You do a naval blockade by getting the siege camp up. If you don't get the siege camp up in time, then you don't blockade. Well, that's good to know. Yeah, I didn't know that. Did not know that. Yeah, and then I think they take your ships too when you get captured, because we don't have a navy anymore. Okay, what else do we want to test? Should destroy or should... Yeah, I kind of wish you could siege from the water. Because then you would block them from reinforcing here, but then I guess they could still reinforce on the land? I don't know, that's interesting. You know what, it actually brings up a good point. So if your allies are sieging... If they're besieging a town, then maybe you can come in and reinforce from the water to make sure nobody reinforces back here, and you could just pick off armies that are trying to come into the town. That would be a good strategy. So you would want to have some naval support to keep them from getting into your town. I think that would probably make a lot of sense. So if you want to siege from the water, you can't. You would actually just come over here. They didn't take our boats, actually. So the boats are still there. What you would do is you would land and then go around to the front and then besiege. You cannot do it from the water. Or maybe you can, but I can't. I haven't figured it out yet. So we just tried it, and it said that you have to leave. Because you're not, you're at war with them, so... Yeah, interesting. So I guess you'd be better off just patrolling back here when your allies besieges, and then you come back here to defend. That would probably make the most sense. Can try again versus fiend champions. Land on ground and use ships to bait arrows. I don't know if you can land on the land. Well, let's try it. We'll do one of the river ones and see if we can go on the land. I don't think you can though. But I didn't try it yet, so maybe. So let's do the river. And I'm just going to leave the troops the way they are by default. That doesn't really matter. Does it need another army? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't... We'd have to wait for the AI to siege something, but I don't know if they can do it in a reasonable time, so... So how would naval blockade work then if it's a failure like this at all? So you have to get the siege camp as fast as you can to stop them from coming in. Because I know once you set the siege camp up, you do set up a blockade automatically, even if you don't have ships. Okay, so you can't go on land. They block you. Do you take damage? Okay, so running into the wall of the map does not cause damage to your ship. That's good at least. Do you know if the Sea Raiders now convert to Nord troops rather than Sturgeon if you use the veteran? Oh, that's a good question. I haven't looked at that. That's a very good question. Yeah, that would be good to know. Let me go check that again. And then also there is a perk in the new perk tree. I didn't talk about that. Let's talk about this now. So they have a Mariner, a Boatswain, and Shipmaster perks. Now these don't have a specific attribute associated with them, but if you hover over the learning rate, you could see you actually get attribute from these other ones. So like Vigor contributes to Shipmaster, Control contributes to Boatswain, Endurance to Mariner, and then same thing down here. Cunning also goes to Mariner, Boatswain, and Intelligence. So you do get boosts from these in your bottom row as well. So it's not just completely lost. But what I was going to say is there's a perk down here. I think it might be Mariner? Yeah, it's Mariner right here. So surrendering pirate parties can be recruited. So this is kind of cool if you want to go collect a bunch of pirate units. But yeah, let's see what those guys convert to. Bandit troops. And also want to see if there's different types of bandits. So I think that's probably for a quest. Corsair. Oh, here we go. I haven't seen these guys yet. So these are probably in the south. Near the Aserai, I'm assuming, because they upgrade into the Aserai troop line. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, it goes directly into the Aserai line. And then we have Sea Hound Recruit. I don't know what that is. Ruffian, that seems like might be for a quest or something. Oops. Alright, we were looking for Sea Raiders. Sea Raider, here we go. So, no, they still go into the Sturgians. Oh no, that one goes into the, yeah, you can go to either way. That is cool. So the Sea Raider Chief can go either way. That's interesting. Yeah, so if you go to the beer skin, you're stuck there, but you can at least get them. You won't have any options for where to go after that. That's the max. I don't see any other upgrade paths. And then you can go Druzhnik. Yep, no problem. All right, what else was look at? Nomads, yeah, these are all the same. Freebooter, that looks about the same. Let's check out some of the troop trees, actually. So I know they have new units for, what do you call it? The, oh yeah, there we go. That's what I was gonna get. Step Bandits, Sea Raiders. Okay, so these guys are considered Sea Raiders. Yep. Oh, you know what? So, okay, I see. So if you go the Sea Raider Chief route, then you can get the bearskin. If you go this route, you can actually go Shield Biters. So you can get, oh no, it's the same one. It just goes down that line. Okay, so you can get this Nord unit, you cannot get the other ones. And then you also can't get the tier 6. Are the new tier 6 Nord troops good on land? They're decent on land. They're not, I didn't find them to be amazing, but I didn't test them enough to really say for sure. But yeah, they were okay. I wasn't blown away by them, but I also don't think they want to make them too OP. So that's probably why they did that. The Nord troop, I'll show you right now. The Huskarl. So these guys have 200 melee, right? Polearm of one-handed 200, throwing of 190, and athletics 160. And they have pretty good armor. So 51 head armor, 30 body, 22 leg. The body is not that good of armor actually, so they're not super well armored, but they do have a good Nordic shield, so most of that should be covered. The thing is though, look at their hands. They don't have any hand coverings, so that bothers me, and I have a feeling that might be why they're going down a little bit faster. The Nord archers are good when they have ammo, but they don't have that much ammo. They only have one quiver. So let's look at the Nord. So Nord Peasant, then you go... Now this is also interesting. The tier 1 troop has a shield. No other tier 1 infantry has a shield, so these guys are pretty good in the early game. Yeah, you can get a decent shield wall with these guys right from the get-go. And then you go down the Huntsman line, and then... But you can see they only have one quiver of 20 arrows. I mean, that's nothing. That's nothing. Yeah, the armor is not that good. Their combat skills are good, but their armor's not. So that's why I said they're decent. Like, they're better than other infantry, but are they worth it for a tier 6? I don't know. I don't know that. But yeah, you can see these guys. I wish they would drop the shield and pick up another set of arrows. But with that said, I will say this: these guys do make dual-use infantry. They're quite good in melee, actually. When I was using them in my campaign, they did pretty well. So, yeah, they're decent in melee. So I think maybe they're meant to be more like skirmisher than dedicated archers. So you can see here, one-handed is 140. These guys, one-handed is 140. So they're on par with all the your shield troops. And then their equipment, they have the leather Bannerlord axe. It does 72 swing damage, whereas this guy's does 71. So yeah, they're pretty good. 2 shock troop types, I don't know why they did that, but they did. So this guy's got a 2-handed axe. This guy has a 2-handed polearm. So I'm assuming that's why. But here's the biggest issue with the Nord lineup that I can tell so far is their armor is pretty severely lacking. Like if you, okay, so we talked about the top tier unit, but the problem is, if we go out down the line, let's look at these guys. No helmet. All 3 of their setups, they have no helmet. This guy, they have no helmet. That's a tier 3. Tier 4, they have 1 helmet out of 3 setups. So 1/3 of your troops will have helmets. Everybody else will have no helmet. These basically are like the Sword Sisters. It's the same thing. So, and then we go down to the tier 5. Even the tier 5, one guy doesn't have a helmet, so he's just going to get picked off really, really fast. So I don't know. I guess they're supposed to be fast. Is my guess. They're supposed to be quick and light armored or whatever, but I don't know. I feel like their infantry is kind of underwhelming in combat, but like I said, it's still early. I haven't had enough time to really test all of it. But with that said, they are really fun to play as. They're pretty versatile, so maybe that's what it's meant for. I don't know that they're good in field battle, like a set battle, but if you're doing a bunch of small battles, then I feel like you can do pretty well. But I don't think they have any cav, right? Let me look at their... They have 0 cavalry. So that'll be interesting. That'll make their movement speed a lot slower as well. So it'd be kind of interesting to see how they fare in big battles. And then... so yeah, that's probably why they did this, actually. Now that I think about it, that's probably why they have these. Because these guys will probably counter cavalry pretty well. They don't have a spear brace, but they've got decent weapon length, so... Playing as a Nord could be harsh, yeah. But like I said, it's too early for me to say. I'm just saying my first impressions is that some of the equipment loadouts are kind of questionable. Like these guys have no helmets at a tier 5. These guys have helmets, but they're 16 head armor, so it's really, really easy to pick these guys off. These guys have a little bit better armor. They at least have full helmets. Yeah, 51, 54, and 50. So they're decent. But then back to these guys. Again, 22 armor, 24, and 34. That's actually not bad. That's not... And it looks good. I kind of wish they would put that on all of them so they would have some armor. But then, yeah, 32 body armor. So I think most of the high tier are in the, like the mid 50s. So it's pretty rough. Yeah, good point. Let's look at other troop, other faction mariners. Let's see if there's a function where you can look at just the mariners. I don't think so, though. Let's look at one by one. So Vlandia, peasant, and then we'll see where the mariner shows up. Right here. So they only have a ranged mariner. Right? It looks like they only have a ranged mariner. And also, I've noticed they have more than one way to get to the one unit, which is new. They've never done that before, which I'm a big fan of. So if you go down this troop tree, or if you have, let's say you have a hardened crossbowman from your companion, you need to upgrade to that, but you really need to get the Nauta, you can upgrade them this way. So I'm a big fan of that. I wish they did more of that in the main troop tree. Shen Mikhail, what's up? Started watching Ep 1 when I saw this. Love your content from Philippines. I appreciate it. ¿Cómo está, kuya? These equipment look like some bandits. All right. So how do these guys compare stat-wise? They look very similar, actually. They actually look identical. What about gear? Gear looks lighter. Yeah, this guy has 24 body armor. This guy has 25. Oh, it's the same. 36 and 42. So it's a little bit lighter, but I would say it's pretty close. Do you have any info on what the bonuses and penalties for using naval / non-naval troops at sea? I don't, but I can tell you anecdotally, I have my character here leveled up decently in these stats, but almost nothing down here. And I remembered when I was going on the ship, my swing speed was so slow. It was really, really bad. So using non-mariner troops is, yeah, on ships is probably not a good idea. They're going to have a tough time. Let's check out. So that is for Vlandia. Vlandia has only one troop that is a mariner. I think that's the same for all of them, though. Let's go Sturgia. Peasant. There we go. And their mariner is a two-handed. That's probably not a good idea. They're going to get picked off. Yeah, and you can get to him in 2 different ways. So the Reaver, this guy has a shield, 2-handed broadaxe, and then 2 sets of throwing axes. But like I said, he's probably going to get picked off without having that shield up front. What about the tier 4 Mariner? These guys don't have a tier... Oh yeah, they do right there. You're right. I like the loadout though. It looks really nice. And then these guys, bearded axe, kind of the same, just a little bit less armor. And then the crewman. Crewman comes from the warrior, so there you go. Interesting. Yeah, I need to do a little more research, but yeah, I'm pretty sure the debuff from being on the water, being on a boat, and then not being a mariner is pretty severe. Because like I said, I did notice a huge difference. So, I don't know what your name is. @symbol. Welcome to the novice. Thanks for joining, becoming a member. I appreciate that, man. Thanks for supporting the channel. The Nord culture bonus is you get extra loot from looting caravans and peasants and stuff like that. So it's basically like raiding. And the other one is faster move speed in shallow waters. And then your debuff is you lose cohesion for armies faster. So like if you're using influence to call in ally armies in, you'll lose them faster. You have to spend more influence. So that's the bonuses you get for them. For the culture. All right, let's see. Nomad. These guys are... Oh, do they not have a mariner unit? Yeah, because they hate being on water, I guess. Can you only upgrade naval troops if you own a ship, or will it be normal as always? Yeah, it's normal. You can upgrade. You can get mariner troops before you have boats. You don't need boats for that. Yeah, so you just go down the troop tree like usual. Yeah, Khuzaits have no mariner, so fighting them at the ocean when they're only using their own troops would be pretty good. What do you think of Palace Guard's new weapon? I haven't seen it, actually. I'd have to look. What about the Empire? Yeah, we'll take a look at the Palace Guards in a sec. Alright, here we go. Shipmate. That sounds like it. So yeah, these guys have melee troops. They have hook javelin. These look like cavalry, basically. Like the cavalry equipment. Doc Raphael, thank you so much for helping support the channel, becoming a member. I appreciate that, man. Good to see you as well. I haven't seen you in a bit. Hope you're doing well. 2030 update will be Air Force Bannerlord. Yeah. Alright, and then their stats are, what, 130? So they're on par. Yeah, they're on par with everybody else's. That's fine. So these are pretty decent. I guess the big difference, so I guess you would have to ask yourself, are you going to fight on the water a lot? And if you are, you might as well just field these guys and skip the legionaries, because the legionaries have better armor. 48 body armor. These guys have 20 set. Ooh, that's a big difference, though. That's a big difference. Same stats, but less. Yeah, less armor. So the equipment is not as good. But that makes sense. They got to balance it somehow. Okay, what about Battania? I think we saw them already. It's got to be an archer, right? No, it's... Oh, yeah, the Skipari, that's right. So this was... These guys were just destroying us. Oh, they have the Jareed. Holy crap, no wonder they were doing so much damage. Why do they have these? And they have 2 stacks. That's 5. 5 each, so 10. They have 10, and then with bonuses, you can get even more. Holy crap. Okay, so... why would you even bother with the wildlings? Like, look at the wildlings. Well, they do have 117 pierce, actually. They're pretty good as well. 121. I mean, these are objectively better. What about the armor? So 32 body armor versus the wildlings. 53, yeah. Okay, so they balanced it properly. That makes sense. So these guys are definitely lower armor, but man, that's crazy. 2 stacks of them too. The skill's the same. They made the skill the same. So actually these guys have better skill. 130 one-handed and 140 throwing. This is 120 and 130. So the Mariner has 10 more skill. Is it possible a bigger ship with a smaller one? Yeah, you can have as many different ship combinations as you want. You can have like one big ship and a bunch of little ones. You could have all big ships. You could have all little ships. You could do, maybe I misunderstood the question, but yeah, you can do, if I answered it right, then yeah, you can do mix and match. Wildlings have trash helmets. 25, yep, and then that's the only option. What about the Skipari? 38, these guys actually have better helmets. I did not expect that. All right, well, there you go. But way weaker body armor. So these are actually pretty good troops. I would use these in the field for sure, even if, you know, not a lot of naval action going on. I would definitely use them. There may be a reason why they're stronger than the Nords. Actually, let's take a look at that. So the Nord has 200 combat skills, but their throwing weapons are not anywhere near the same. So I think it probably had to do less with melee and more with what their equipment was. All right, what about Aserai? What do they have? They have to have some kind of naval because they're like based on the sea. There we go. These guys have archers, so they should be fairly strong then on the water. What about River Raider? I don't know what the River Raider is. Did I miss it? Yeah, you can be a River Raider for sure. You can park your boat wherever you want. Hey Mehmet, what's up? Could be good to go back and compare the other equipments. Yeah. To beat bigger ships, you must outnumber to board or fire arrow. That is no other way. Yeah, if you're fast and you have a lot of weapons, you could definitely outrange them and then pick them apart from a distance, and they'll have a hard time catching you. So, okay, let's go. These guys, what are their stats though? Nope. Yeah, they do have a noble bow. These guys are quite good, and they have more arrows at 23. 31 body armor, so that's not bad. It's better than most. The average is around 25 that we've seen for most mariners, so that's pretty good. Okay, that doesn't really matter. Okay, let's go back to the Nord and take a look again. So this guy has only one set of throwing weapons, only 3 in the stack. So it's 10 stack versus a 3 stack. The cutting damage is only 86 versus 121. The throwing skill is higher on these guys, but they just don't have weapons to throw. So I understand why they want to do the throwing axis. Like, that makes sense from a lore perspective, but dude, they're just outclassed. They're outclassed. Yeah, the bow and the Jareed. I wonder if they lose their stats for everything, for throwing, one-handed, everything. I'm not sure, but that'd be interesting to look at. Yeah, I hate throwing axes, man. I never really do that much damage with them. Even when they hit, they don't feel like they do that much damage. Yeah, Local, I tested it. You cannot siege from the water. You can reinforce from the water if the siege camp is not up yet, but you cannot start a siege camp on the water. So what you do to blockade it is you need to get your siege camp up as soon as you can, and then it creates a blockade so people can't sneak in from the back to reinforce the town. So having boats to reinforce naval is going to be very important because you can get into the town still. So, all right, take care, Victor. Maybe they upgraded throwing axes. Doesn't feel like it. From all my testing, it doesn't feel like it. I mean, they're still good at close range, but compared to the javelins, they're just not anywhere near as good. So, hey, Nobbert. I hope you're doing well, man. Why they have no hand armor? I don't get that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they felt like they were too OP with it. Because some of these, but even their chest armor, look at that, 30. It's not good. It's just not good. So I don't know if they need to get some balancing or not. But like I said, it's still early access. It's fine. Maybe they'll fix it by the launch. They are very good at fighting though, because their stats are so high. So they can do really well if you treat them right. Let's do a couple more tests, and then I'm probably gonna go eat lunch here. I gotta feed my kid. Oh, it's already 12:15. All right, let's try and get maybe 1 or 2 more battles. Let's do maybe some shipboarding. We'll do Nords. Nord versus Britannia. We'll let them have some of their Skipari. And then Falksman, Wildling, and Oathsworn. Let's do maybe 3 ships. Yeah, let's do 3 ships, max troops. Yeah, round ship and this one. And then for our troops, let's get our Huscarl. Yeah, see, every single troop here is Mariner, so every one of these guys can do well on the water. Let's get some of our shock troops as well, and then got all of these guys. All right, we'll have a nice mix. Okay, let's see how this goes. Just want to pick somebody with a shield. Yeah, that's fine. This guy has a shield. All right, max troop count. So we're a little understaffed, but that should be fine. It doesn't matter who we pick. This stuff is fine. I think we'll just leave that. How good is Nord at ramming? I've tested ramming a little bit. I haven't found it to be all that impressive, but it looks cool and it's fun, but I need more time. I need more time to run tests and see how good they are. So here we go. Let's go ahead and delegate command. Let's get in there and fight. Let's hope they armor them up for release, at least a little more. I would like to see that, but I also haven't had enough time to test to see if they're balanced. I just know just from, you know, like my gut reaction says that's not enough armor and they're going to struggle. And I've kind of already seen the fact that they don't dominate everybody in terms of like foot troops, which I feel like if you're a tier 6 infantry, you probably should. Because they're more, keep in mind, they're more expensive. They're harder to find because you can only get them from castles, from castle settlements. So yeah, I don't know. But like I said, it's still early. We're not gonna try to jump to any conclusions or anything, but I'm just sharing my thoughts. They should dominate melee like fiends do in range. I agree with that. Only one max tier 5 Mariner for other factions because they'd have none. Yeah, because they don't really have any. All right, what are they gonna do? Engage ship in front. Guess we're just gonna try and link up with this one. Is he gonna go past? So I think what would probably make the most sense is if you can gang up on a ship, like if you see your ship boarding another one, try and go behind them and then get in there and double team. If you can't, even if it's for like a few seconds, you can get a little bit of an advantage and maybe steamroll that or compound that into a bigger advantage. So here we go. Yeah, we're losing for sure. I'm telling you, those guys the throwing weapons are terrifying. That one hit took like 20% HP off of the shield. That's crazy. Oh, there's a Fox. We're dead. And then here, you can go, if you want, you can go underwater and swim to the bottom. I don't know how far down it goes. I did this in the river one. And, oh, I just saw a body fall down there. There you go. Let's go back up. Yep, there's all the dead bodies there. Okay, let's see. Dude, they're getting stomped. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm a little concerned here that the Nords aren't just completely dominating on the water. I feel like they should have a fairly sizable advantage here, and it doesn't feel like they do. And the one faction that, well, the Khazaids definitely are not good on the water because they don't have a mariner, but the other faction that you would think would not be all that good on the water is the Batanians, right? Because they're normally landlocked. They moved one to the ocean, but it's kind of... I don't feel like they're meant to be on the water as much, but I feel like they're going to dominate the water really well, so... But yeah, we'll see. I gotta get some time playing a full campaign. That's the problem. See, the problem with videos like this is people are they're gonna watch maybe 5-10 minutes and say, "Oh, Strat said they're trash. They don't have good armor." It's like not really. I'm saying my first impression is kind of like that, but I don't have enough time with the game to really say one way or the other. I know there's, especially with YouTubers, there's this big rush to get a video out as fast as you can because you want to make all the money in the world. I don't care. Like I used to care a lot about the numbers, and now I just don't care. I want to have fun and do the videos that I want to do. I'm kind of over that whole playing the YouTube game thing. So I want to take my time and get all the info to make accurate assessments rather than just kind of like knee-jerk reactions or clickbait garbage. So we'll see. I don't know. It's your own assessment as well. Yeah, I gotcha. I know somebody's going to watch this and take it out of context and go to the forums and be like, oh, this guy said this and he's got 5,000 hours. He knows. It's like, I don't know. Like, I have 5,000 hours in the game, but not with the DLC. I only have like 10 or 15 hours in the DLC, and I didn't play enough to know for sure. I'll give you another perfect example. So I started playing EU5 last month. And it took me about 100 to 150 hours before I felt comfortable making a beginner's guide. Like, I had to put a lot of time to know just about everything that I could know before I felt comfortable giving advice. And I know there's other people that play for 5 hours and they're like, oh, here's my tips. It's like, you don't know shit about the game because you barely installed it. So it's I don't know. It is what it is. People can play the YouTube game. I'm over it. I don't want to do that anymore. So we're just going to do that. Can you show the new troop trees? You'll probably have to rewind. I spent a good 10-15 minutes. I did look at a lot of the troop trees. Yeah, good question, Lee Patterson, about the horses. You can take horses on ships, but you have to be careful what ship you're using. So my first ship that I bought was a light ship. And no, it's all good, man. Yeah, I was just gonna say I don't want to go back and do it again for all the people that just sat through it. So, but yeah, if you go back like maybe 15-20 minutes, you can see a lot of the troop trees that I went through. But yeah, back to the horses on ships. So your ship, actually, let me go to my save file here so you can see what I'm talking about rather than just the words. Can a horse dive? You cannot have a horse on a ship, but you can bring the horse in the cargo hold. But yeah, that'd be kind of funny if you could have a horse on the actual ship. Now, if I go to my inventory here, there's two numbers to look at. There's the top number. Hold on. Turn cheats off so it doesn't lag my system here. There we go. So if you look, there's two numbers. There is your ship's cargo hold, and then there's your personal cargo hold when you go on land. If you have a bunch of horses, the horses do not add weight to your personal cargo hold. So for example, if I have a bunch of Sumpter horses here, my land capacity is going to go up to, I don't know, 5,000 or whatever. The problem is when you go on your boat, the weight of those mounts gets added to this number and not to this number. So this is your current weight and this is your max capacity. So your land capacity with horses and Sumpter horses and all that stuff, it's always going to add more weight to your capacity. But when you go on the boat, it adds to your current cargo weight. So I made the mistake of having a big group of horses so that I can move around. So each of my infantry had a horse to ride on so we can get in, raid, and then go back. But when I got on the boat, it was completely overloaded because I had too many horses. So yeah, be careful. But there are lots of different kinds of ships. So I would say if you're going to have horses, probably go with one with more cargo capacity and less speed maybe. Yeah, they definitely balanced it. So, and the horses weigh a lot. They weigh a lot. So horses were hard to transport over water. Yeah. And then just like having all the feed, you'd have to have a lot of feed and water for them. And that takes up a lot of space and weight, I would imagine. So yeah, I could see that being a big problem. So the Nords, I would say when you're using the light ships, the ones with the low keel, Actually, let's go to a dock. I'll show you what it looks like when you try and buy a boat. Let's go down here to Diathma. So when you're looking at the boat, you got to look at the capacity and see what kind of ship capacity your current loadout will be. So if you, like I said, if you have a lot of mounts, riding mounts, that could be a problem. The one thing I did not check to see is if your cavalry add weight or not, because they won't have their horses equipped. So I don't know if that actually counts or not. Yeah, see, look at you. This is what I was saying earlier. When you have a small in the early game, don't go on the water and expect to do much until you actually have a decent sized force. 50, maybe 50 troops, 50 to 60 troops, you can probably handle it. But if you're trying to get on the water as soon as you can, it's going to be a disaster. There's not really anything for you to do. So, but let's get in here, manage fleet. So here is what they sell at this dockyard. So they have, how do I look at the other ships? Yeah, I see they have other ships here. Why is it not letting me? Yeah, that's my personal ship. I'm just going to sell it right now. We can get back to it later. That's fine. So here's the ships that they sell. So like this one has cargo capacity of 900. This is the one I was using. And 900 is nothing. You got to keep in mind, that's including your food. So 900 capacity is like what? 100 pieces of food? And that's it. Now that's you're maxed out. So be careful with that. But if we look at some of these other ones, 700 cargo capacity, that's terrible. 1400, that's not gonna be enough for horses. 3250, you're getting there. You could probably do it with something like this. I wonder if this is a class light. I wonder if this is like meant to be a trade ship. Emerald of the West Wind. This is a Corbetta. 2600, 1400, 1400. Here we go. These are the big boys. This only has 2000 cargo capacity, so you're not going to carry any horses on this at all. This is not going to be a good ship for horses. The Holy Wrath, 2000, 3250. Yeah, see, seems like 3250 is like the max. Although this isn't all the ships, this is just some. Okay, so this one actually costs 136k. I haven't seen that before. Yeah, these are pretty expensive. And then here's let's look at some of the upgrades you can do for these. So, see if it's gonna let me. Yeah, if you click, like, usually when you click on this, it'll show the upgrades that they'll do. You can't upgrade if your ship is damaged, though. So here we go. Here's some of the upgrades. So, like, you got different types of shields here. Shield protection. Crew shield hit points. You can get upgrades for the shields. And then over here, you've got... This is what we were talking about. Somebody was asking, can you get quiver and throwing weapon reloads? You can. You can get all the way up to +3. Where are you? +3 quiver. There's one that's 3 and 3. So 3 quiver and 3 throwing weapon reload. I don't see it on here though. Maybe they don't have it. But anyways, if you're using a lot of arrows, and you're kitted out for that, you can do a lot of damage here with +3 quivers. It's a lot. Multiple ships add to your weight, I guess. Yes, they do. They do. So it solves the problem when you get more ships. Well, the problem is the more ships you have, the more troops you have, right? So if you're trying to have mounts, if you're trying to move fast on land, you need to buy mounts for your foot troops to use, right? So if you have more ships, then you need more mounts for those. So it doesn't scale just because you buy more ships. It's the ratio is going to be the same, if that makes sense. So, but like I said, there's other ships in here that do actually have decent cargo capacity. So just make sure you're buying the correct type. So this is a light ship. It's a long ship with pretty small cargo capacity. So this is meant to be, float it up to the land, get off, go raid something, run back, and then leave. One thing that is really fun, I want to do more of, but I could see this being probably the most fun part of this gameplay loop. The big battles are fun, don't get me wrong, but the best part, in my opinion, is probably going to be raiding other ships and taking them. So like all these people, you can attack all these people. Here, let's do one of those. I'll show you what it looks like. So I'm gonna. Can we attack these guys? Might have to already be at war. No, we can attack them. Here we go. So we're attacking some fishermen. Seaworthiness, I believe, was the one that reduced your attrition when you're on the water. And I think there was one other thing with it, but I'll have to take a look. How much is it? So the cheapest ship you can get is around 12,500. So they're pretty cheap. But like I said, if you're going to buy a ship that early, use it for transportation. Don't use it for combat, because you're not going to be able to attack anybody. Everybody's so big. You could maybe attack a fishing ship. You could do that if you're like going against peasants. So this is what we're doing right now. This is a light ship. This one was 12,500 or right around there. And now we're going to go after and raid some of these fishing ships. And you can actually go capture their ship. Yeah, it's cheap. The high-end ships are about 130, 140k, something like that. Okay, yeah, look. I'm almost done. I'll get off in a minute. Sorry, give me 1 second. Oh, there we go. All right, let's finish this up. I'm getting yelled at by my wife. I gotta feed the kids. They do eat sometimes, right? They do need food. All right, let's so we're gonna try and hook onto these guys and fight this as a 1v1 instead of a 2v1 as long as we can. Board. Oh, don't let them out. There we go. Hook onto them, boys. Hook on. There we go. And then we can miss the jump and then have to climb back on. But it's actually pretty easy to get back on your ship. Yeah, there we go. And then these guys are all peasants, so they only have... And look at it. These guys in the back are trying to get there. I feel like the AI is pretty smart here for this. I was kind of surprised. I was expecting the AI to be pretty janky, but they do, when you attach to one of their ships, they do try pretty hard to link up all their ships so they can get on. So like usually that second ship will come over here and link to their ship. Start picking these guys off so we can end this and take their ship. So it kind of reminds me of if you've ever played the X series, the space simulator. So like X3, X4. It's like a German, Egosoft is the name of the publisher, I think, but or the developer, German game. They had a playback loop where you have a spaceship and you can go out and fight pirates, and whether you could take transport ships and you can take their ships and repair them and sell them. You can do the same thing here. You can take it back to somebody else's dock and sell them. They sell for about 1/3 of the price. So like this ship costs 12k. If we capture it, we could sell it for about 4k, roughly, something like that. So that is, I think, a pretty fun feedback loop or a gameplay loop. So I could definitely see that being fun, just trying to pick off nobles and take their ships and going back and selling it for a bunch of money. You ransom the noble. You can just make a ton of money doing it that way, and then build up your fleet to get even bigger as you go. Let me get back my chat because I minimized it. All right, here we go. Come on, can we kill this last guy, please? I gotta go feed the kids. Oh my god. All right, let's get over there and try and catch him. We need to cut loose the ropes. Oh, we won. There we go. So we should get access to both of these ships, and you can see they are damaged slightly, but they'll still be worth a lot. Yeah, pirate hideout would be perfect. Now we get access to the ships if we want to take them because they didn't get destroyed. So it seems like it's a 100% chance that you take them. So you take... Now you have to be careful. If you have too few people to man the ships, you will actually move incredibly slow. So you do have to be careful with that. Also, we have to go back to another port that's friendly. So let's just do that. I'm gonna scoot my way around the map here so you guys can see it. Let's go back to Varnavapol. So here, if we go to manage fleet, we can come in here and sell ships. Or if you want to use the fishing ships, you can use a fishing ship. I mean, there's nothing against it. But yeah, this one's worth 37.15. We don't want to sell our main ship. This one's worth 39. So we just made 7,600 bucks for raiding peasants. I mean, that to me is a win-win. I really like that. Can't wait to see your marks after a long playthrough. Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to do. So I will say this, Marta. I'm trying to temper people's expectations because my initial reaction was I wanted to get in and try the boats right away, and I think that's a mistake. You kind of have to build up. Boats feel like they're more of a mid-game to late-game thing, but it also could just be that I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like maybe if I did it differently, I take that back. I think if I were to go to just be like a brigand and not join somebody as a mercenary, I could just attack random people and take their fishing ships. Actually, that would probably work. You could technically still do it in the early game. I'm gonna make a guide for that because I can already see it now. People are gonna run into the same issue that I ran into. You know, they get in, they're like, oh, I can't wait to get a navy, and then they're stuck in the early game grind for 10 hours before they even get a boat. So I could see that being a problem. So maybe I'll make a guide for that before it releases to help people get up to the fun part. So we'll see. But yeah, I think once you get the boat running, it's really fun. I really enjoyed it. I love being a pirate, taking ships. I'm so glad you guys allowed taking ships and selling them like this. Because I was mentioning before, there's a game that I played, the X series. So much more fun. It's a really fun playback loop when you can board ships and do all that. Story mode is also another aspect for onboarding. Can't wait to see the. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. I didn't touch the story mode because I was worried I would accidentally spill something, so I'm not even touching it. So yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right there. Good point. Anyways, I gotta go, guys. My wife's yelling at me because I gotta feed the kids. It's already like 40 minutes past their lunchtime. So anyways, I appreciate everybody showing up. A lot of support here. You guys are going to love it when it comes out. I've got more Bannerlord videos coming out that will probably go up on the Let's Play channel. And then I'll try to get a guide or two out before the launch. And then I have some testing videos planned for post-launch. So we got a decent amount of Bannerlord content scheduled. And definitely look into the DLC. If you're not into naval stuff, probably not going to be for you. But if you're even remotely interested in, it feels like a completely different game, and I'm very excited to get in there and see what kind of possibilities we can do. So, anyways, I'll see you guys later. Have a good day. Thank you so much.